Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Gradeup, India's largest online education platform. My name is Harshmeet Singh. I welcome you all to this very important session in which I will be discussing with you the National Council for Transgender Persons. ये नेशनल काउंसिल फॉर ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन्स रिसेंटली बनाई गई एक बॉडी है in which, as the name suggests, the government is trying to reform the ways that the transgender community is treated in India. ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी के वेलफेयर के लिए, उनके लिए अच्छे लॉज बनाने के लिए, उनके लिए अच्छे पॉलिसी सजेशंस लाने के लिए इस पूरी काउंसिल को बनाया गया है. नाउ दिस बॉडी इज इंपॉर्टेंट आपके कोर्स के लिए फ्रॉम टू व्यूज. आपके लिए दो तरीके से इंपॉर्टेंट है. पहली बात तो इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ ए करंट अफेयर्स, क्योंकि अभी अभी बॉडी बनाई गई है बहुत रिसेंटली, तो आपको करंट अफेयर्स में भी आप ये पढ़ोगे. सेकेंडली, ये जो बॉडीज है ये राइट्स इश्यूज में भी आता है आपका जब आप अपना GS2 का पेपर पढ़ते हो. सो मेंस एग्जाम में GS2 का पेपर है, उसमें राइट्स इश्यूज में भी इस टाइप की बॉडीज के बारे में आप पढ़ते हैं. ट्रांसजेंडर राइट्स, ट्रांसजेंडर को जो राइट्स मिले हैं उनके लिए कौन कौन सी बॉडीज हैं, all these kind of things you will read when you actually study the GS2 paper. और उसके अलावा आप इंडियन पॉलिटी में भी इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. Now, before I start this lecture, I would just like to remind you once again एक बार कि क्यों क्यों important है और आपको GS2 के लिए पढ़ना है और आपको प्रीलिम्स के लिए भी पढ़ना है. So let's begin without any further delay. Now, जैसे कि मैंने कहा, it is a very recent body और ये अभी अभी बनाई गई है. This body has been made by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. आप किसी भी जब बॉडी के बारे में पढ़ते हो, whenever you read about any specific body, remember the first thing that you have to remember is कि वो कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री के अंडर है. Is it under a ministry? Is it under a department? वो किसके अंडर काम करती है. So this body works under the under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. इस मिनिस्ट्री ने इस बॉडी को बनाया गया है. नाउ हाउ हैज दिस बॉडी बीन मेड? ये बॉडी कौन से एक्ट के अंडर है? दिस बॉडी हैज बीन मेड अंडर ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन्स प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ राइट्स एक्ट 2019. सो 2019 में ही ये एक्ट आया था कॉल्ड द ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन्स प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ राइट्स एक्ट 2019, एंड अंडर दैट दिस बॉडी हैज बीन मेड. हेलो, हाय Tharun, good to see you. Now, central government has made the National Council for Transgender Persons just in August this year. So it's not a very old body. As I said, it's a very recent current affair for you. In August this year itself, just about, let's say, 3 weeks back, this body was made. Now, ever since the government has come into power back again, the Modi government has been focusing on the rights of the transgender persons. For example, Transgender Persons Bill of 2019 was passed by the Modi government, which talked about the rights of the transgenders. The law defines what are the rights of transgenders and also prohibits discrimination against them. As you know, transgender people are discriminated when it comes to jobs, when it comes to finding houses to live. So they face a lot of discrimination. To end that discrimination, this particular bill has been passed. Also, no government or private entity can now discriminate against a transgender person in employment. That is again a part of this law. Third, this national council that has been formed, it has the authority to advise, monitor, and to give suggestions about the protection of rights on the transgender person. They can advise the government how to function, how to make laws, how to make their policies. They will also talk about formulation of programs and welfare schemes. So new programs will be formed, new schemes will be formed by this particular council. They can suggest the government what kind of schemes and programs can be made for transgender people specifically. Every transgender person shall have a right to reside and be included in their household. All these protections are a part of the Transgender Persons Bill of 2019 passed by the government. Now, it is important to know who are defined as transgenders. Transgenders people are those who have a gender identity which is different from the sex assigned at the time of their birth. So, if when someone is born and by seeing at the body, by seeing at the reproductive organs, doctors declare that he is a boy or she is a girl. But when they grow up, they think differently from their sex assigned at the time of birth, that is their gender. So if your gender is different from your sex, then it is said that you are a transgender person. Now, why was there a need at the council? Why did you need such a council? First, people are often invisibilized in the legal and policy discourse. Means transgender people are not really talked about. People don't really talk about them. Government does not really talk about that their needs are also to be catered. Government does not really make many laws about them. We don't have much discussion about the transgender people, and that is why there is a need. Secondly, we must understand the difference between gender and sex characteristics. Sex is what your body, how your body is made. Gender is more about how your hormones are working. Maybe your etiquettes, or maybe the way you feel to be, or maybe your own personality is not the same as your reproductive organs would suggest. So there is a difference between the two. That is how you are called a transgender. Transgender people, as you know, around you, they face a lot of discrimination. For them, it is very difficult to get jobs. Even if they do get jobs, they are not really welcomed. They are discriminated against. They find it very hard to find a house to live. So that is why all this discrimination happens. And to prohibit that, this law has been introduced. This law also brings changes in the existing governance system, and it is important and engage. It is important to engage with the system as well. Let's talk about this particular council. This council, as I said in the beginning, has been formed under the Transgender Persons Act of 2019. It will have a multiple, many members, including joint secretary level members from different ministries like the Ministry of Health, Minority Affairs Ministry, Education, Labour, Rural Development, etc. Apart from these ministries, the council will also have members from National Human Rights Commissions, Niti Aayog, National Commission for Women, etc. Members from the transgender community will also be a part of the council to represent the people that they live with. The objective of the council is very simple. They focus on the issues related to transgenders, to raise awareness about the trans community so that they are accepted throughout the society, in their family, outside their family, at their offices, in healthcare. At every single place, they have the right to be treated at equal level as compared to other citizens of the country, and that is what this council aims to do. They ensure that transgender welfare boards are working in all the states, and all the essential help that the transgender community requires for housing, food, healthcare, education, all of that is given to them at a time that they need it. What are the different functions of this council? First, it will advise the central government when it is forming policies, legislation, programs for transgender persons. So the council will advise what kind of laws should be made, what kind of policies should be made. Second, it will review and coordinate all the activities of all the departments working within the government. Then it will look into grievance redressal, means it will look into the complaints of the transgender persons. If the transgender people have certain complaints that they are being discriminated against, they deserve something and they are not getting it, then their complaints can also be listened to by the council. The council will also monitor and evaluate the impact of the government policies. How well is the government policy working? Is the government policy successful or not successful? And if any changes are required in any government policies. All these changes will also be suggested by this particular council. If any other function is given to them by the central government, then that particular function will also be done or will also be performed by this council. So whatever function that the central government thinks that should be given to them, that function will also be given to the council, and council will fulfill all those functions. Now, from the examination point of view, it is always important to remember who are the people in the council, what is the composition. The chairman or the head of the council will be the Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. So whoever is the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment will become the chairman of this council. Then there is a minister under him also, the Union Minister of State. So Minister of State in the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment will become the vice chairperson, so the second rank officer. Other members will be representatives from at least 5 union territory or states from north, south, east, west, and northeast regions on a rotational basis. So the representatives from these union territories will keep on rotating. One, there will be representative from a north state, then one representative from a south state, east, west, and northeastern states, and they will keep on rotating. 5 genders from the transgender community, again on the basis of these regions, and representatives from at least 10 central departments of the government of India. The council will have joint secretary level members, that is bureaucrats from the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Home, Minority Affairs, Education, Rural Development, etc. Why? Because you have to understand the transgender community faces discrimination in a lot of spheres. So to give them protection or to help them in all these spheres, all the ministry would have to be involved. It is not just the empowerment and social justice ministry, all the ministry would have to come together, and that is why joint secretary level members from all these ministries are invited to be a part of this council. Apart from this, there will be a member from Department of Pensions, Niti Aayog, National Human Rights Commission, and National Commission for Women as well. The tenure of the community members will be 3 years. So after 3 years, the members will keep on changing. Now, let's focus a bit on the bill also, the bill that under which this council was made. That was called the Transgender Persons Act 2019, as we discussed in brief earlier. The bill says that a national council for transgender persons should be established, and that is why this council has been established. It also defines a transgender person, which I told you earlier. Any person whose gender does not match the sex that was assigned to the person at the time of the birth. They can be trans men, trans women, people with intersex variations, gender queers, people with socio-cultural identities, which you call them kinner or hijra. All these people are within the definition of transgenders. They can also have their own identity certificate issued by the district magistrate. So a district magistrate can issue a certificate to them so that they can prove that yes, they are regarded as a transgender community, and whatever rights a transgender person have, these rights will be given to these people on the basis of this identity card. If they undergo a sex change operation, then they can again have a revised certificate from the district magistrate's office. The Act also says that transgenders have the right of residence with their parents and immediate family members, meaning that there are many cases in which if a transgender person is living within his or her family, there are many people in the nearby houses in the society, they say that the person should not be allowed to live here. So this right is for those situations. Transgender people have the right to residence with their parents and immediate family members, and no one can take away this right from the transgender people. If there is any discrimination, then that discrimination in employment, education, healthcare will be punished. It will attract imprisonment between 6 years and between 6 months and 2 years. So now any discrimination against the transgender community will invite strict punishment and imprisonment. There's a long history to the transgender rights in India. The demand has been long made by from the government. In 2013, the government first set up an expert committee to study the problems of transgender community and to come up with solutions. Next year in 2004, the NALSA, that is the National Legal Services Authority, declared transgender as the third gender because they don't recognize themselves as male or female. So, for example, if there's a job that is only for female, there's a job that is only for male, so they are not able to apply in either of those jobs. Or when they have to tick a form where there is male and female only, they can't tick on the third gender, or they don't accept any of these, they are not allowed to tick something else. So that is something that was questioned, and now in 2014, the Supreme Court said that third gender should also be included in the forms of identity. In 2014 itself, a private member bill was introduced. Private member bill are bills from non-ministers, so these are usually opposition party bills. So opposition party bill was introduced to give protection to transgender people and give punishment to anyone who discriminates against them. But the bill got lapsed. In 2016, the government introduced its own bill, and in 2019, finally, the parliament passed the Transgender Persons Bill of 2019. And just last month, in August 2020, as we read earlier, the National Council for Transgender Persons was set up by the government. Now, just by forming a policy or just by forming a council, we cannot expect that the transgender community will get all the rights that they deserve, that their discrimination will end. That is why a lot of other things need to be done. For example, awareness must be increased amongst the people. The people at large in the society should know about the transgender community, should not discriminate against them. There should be sensitization of legal and law enforcement systems also. The police and the law enforcement agencies should treat the transgender community in a much better way. Only then the success will be ensured. Whatever advice is given to the government by the council, the government should also accept that advice rather than just rejecting it. I would like to remind you that the Gradeup Super subscription service has started. You just have to subscribe to one super subscription. For example, if you take a 12-month subscription at the Gradeup, you will get unlimited access to more than 12 live courses that are going on right now. Right now, Hindi and English courses of 2021 IAS batch are going on. This is pre plus mains both. There are NCERT courses of Hindi and English which are also going on. Apart from this, many other new courses are being launched. For example, there is a new course for EPFO which is now being launched. There is a new course for economics, world history, world and Indian geography, environment, polity, history, journal science. For all these subject-wise courses are launched and under just one single subscription, you will be able to get all these courses with unlimited access along with the mock tests as well. As you know, Gradeup has a lot of free videos for you also. You can learn a lot from those videos even without subscribing. You have to go to the Gradeup app. Gradeup app पे आपको जाना है. On the top left corner, you have to select your exam. You have to select the UPSC exam. Once you select the UPSC exam, आपको next screen पे आना है. On the next screen, you have to go at the bottom in the Prepare tab. यहाँ पे आपको Prepare tab में आना है. Click on Prepare and this screen will come in front of you. Come at the bottom, last में, there are free video series that are given. There are hundreds and thousands of free videos from the best educators in the country, and you can all see all those free videos without paying anything, and those are all open and free for each and everyone. We also have this timetable for all the free videos that we bring up to you. Daily, we have at 12 p.m. editorial analysis. For Daily's newspaper, our expert faculty discussing editorial with you, what is important in that, what is not. Daily at 2 p.m. we have a free class for those preparing for IAS 2020. Daily at 5 p.m. we have a free class for EPFO aspirants. Daily at 8 p.m. we have a free class for IAS 2021 aspirants also. At 9 p.m. we have a free class for daily current affairs. All that is free of cost for you. You are invited, you can come. You just have to download the Gradeup app and you can see all these are live classes. You can ask your doubt from the faculties also. At the YouTube channel where you are watching this right now, we have the Gradeup IAS YouTube channel where we have 3 classes free of cost every single day. These are live classes. At 1 p.m. we have a live class for 2021 batch. At 3 p.m. we have a live class for EPFO. At 6 p.m. we have a live class for 2020 batch. All this is open for you and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you can come and attend this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this topic is now much more clear to you. Please download the Gradeup app, take the Gradeup Super subscription so that I can see most of you in my classroom, practice topic-wise quizzes and keep attending live classes. Thank you so much for watching guys. Bye-bye. Have a good day.